Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Bros, Tequila, and Games.
Welcome everybody.
Welcome. This is J Pie, and I am Dark Poetic Prince, and we are bros who drink tequila and play games. You want to show the camera because my camera right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's tequila of choice is Adictivo Tequila. It's extra añejo, 100% de agave, tipo de barrica, roble blanco francés, and maybe some.
You went too far with that.
I don't know what that really means, but maybe some tequila connoisseurs out there do. But it's very fancy looking. It looks very nice. It's a product of Mexico, and yeah, I mean the bottle is very cool. Look at that.
Fun fact: all tequila is a product of Mexico. It's actually a designation of place of origin. That's what tequila is. Fun fact. So all tequila resides in the Jalisco area in Mexico.
Oh wow!
Just so you know, yeah. If you get it from another area of Mexico, it's called mezcal, and it has different flavors because the soil is different. Anyway, this is my favorite tequila. It's a sweet tequila, and that's what we're drinking tonight. So let's take a sip. We're going to all our viewers and
cheers, guys.
Cheers. So what do you think?
Oh my goodness.
Sweet, right?
Yeah, I've only had your typical tequilas that you can find here on the East Coast. Jose Cuervo.
Worst one.
Yeah. What's the one by George Clooney? Casamigos.
Casamigos. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then Patron. But this is by far, hands down, the best I've had. It's like, all alcohol has that kind of sting to it, but my goodness, this is just like, it is so smooth. It's delicate, it's sweet. Yeah, I never had tequila like it. Just for you guys, I usually drink beer. I drink a lot of beer.
So this is extra añejo. So, you know what añejo means?
No.
It means aged. So it's extra aged. Like you have reposada, which means rested. So it depends on the time that they actually put the tequila in casks and like keep it and let it sit, And depending on what cask they use, like when you get clear tequila, blanco, white tequila, they just take it from the plant and put it right into the bottle. Like they don't store it at all. Añejo is usually it's between a year and 2 year. Extra añejo is like a new category. They didn't used to have tequilas like this. But it's very good. This is my favorite. You want to take a guess at how much this bottle costs?
I'm going to guess 180?
No, less actually.
160?
Less than that.
140?
Less.
120?
Yeah, about 120.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, for this bottle, and this is only 750 milliliters. So it's expensive, but I love it.
Yeah, it is expensive, and it's the first time that I'm having it, and it's quite literally the best tequila I've ever had. So I definitely, I mean, if you're just trying to get drunk, I'm sure anything will do, but if you're celebrating, I think that this is like amazing. This is like candy.
Yeah, and it's more a sipping. Like you don't really want to mix it, because then you're just wasting your money, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's good for sipping. It's kind of like a wine. Like you could put it in a wine glass and like to give it air and kind of let it come to itself, and it just it's a sipping thing.
Yeah, at first when we took it, I thought it was just like any other tequila. I thought we were just gonna throw it back. And then I just followed your lead, and I'm glad I did because it would be like a waste. I know that sounds weird, but the way that it's such an interesting taste. Just throwing it back would just be rushing the process, basically.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah, all right. So that's the tequila we're drinking today.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So let's talk about games, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Well, we're brothers. I don't know if you know that. Maybe we should say that for people who don't know, because probably nobody knows.
Yeah. Yes, indeed we are. I'm the younger one,
and I'm the older one.
And we've played games our entire lives,
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
yeah, starting from Nintendo NES.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had it. We got Nintendo when the Sega Genesis was already out, so we were late to the party, but we've caught up in the years since. I've
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
played every system. So let's jump into the games. What games have you been playing
Uh,
lately?
so mainly I've been playing this game called Predecessor, and it's a MOBA, but it's a niche MOBA. And if you know Smite, which is a third person MOBA, it's similar to that, except Smite, the difference between, you could think of this as a new generation Smite, because Smite is, even though it appears three-dimensional, you really only play on two planes for the most part, because jumping doesn't really have any kind of effect on the uh, ground level. And so you have some ultimates that take you up in the air, so that in that way but it's not like truly three-dimensional. And where so aside from that major difference, because in this game you have verticality, you jump, like you can quite literally jump over abilities and you can dodge a lot of stuff. Even though some ultimates you could dodge by jumping at the right time, and you traverse through the
Like,
map.
sorry, jumping, like pressing spacebar, you could dodge an ultimate.
Yeah, yeah, like
That doesn't sound right.
yeah, but that's the thing. So it a lot of ultimates. I mean, some it's not going to help you, but there's like one ultimate which is one of the coolest ones in the game where this character Murdoch, he is like a futuristic cop, and he has a snipe which is global. So you activate your ult, aim down your reticle, and then you just snipe across the map. So you could do it from like the opposite lanes, and that one is the one most commonly jumped, because normally they see that you have low HP and you're retreating, and they go into their ultimate stance and they're trying to track you, and you can dodge it many times.
And it goes through walls.
Yeah, it goes straight through walls.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so it's like you have it. You have to time it a little bit, because once you let it rip, there's like a half second to like a second delay before it pops off. So that's kind of like a higher level play. Like people, whenever there's a Murdoch on the map, better players are aware of that. So they're trying to dance or have their move. Basically, you want to break the line of sight so they don't see you, and then you want to move erratically. So that's
Um,
like an element, because otherwise a good one is gonna predict you every time and get you.
so like I know this from Dota, which is another MOBA. For me, the best MOBA. I don't play League, and because League you can forfeit, and Dota you can't forfeit because there's no forfeit in Dota. So that's why it's better. Number one.
Yeah.
Come at me. Anyway,
Yeah, you will have people.
yeah. League is the biggest game in the world. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
Dota's better. But that's like the Invoker Sunstrike to me. Like you have low HP, and you're just like, let me go into trees, let me go here, let me wait a second, and then somebody that's really good is just gonna pop you, and you're gonna be like, oh man, it's gonna be a long game.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That one I think it works the same way, right? You activate the sun strike, and then there's a delay, and then it hits. It's like the same type of flow. But there was a time you did play League of Legends a little bit, and do you remember
I
the
did.
character?
Yeah, she it was her, and she had a sniper. She was like,
Yeah,
what was her name?
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Because on I'll follow just some League of Legends channels on TikTok, just because they talk about overall MOBA strategy, and apparently Caitlyn, recently she was like the worst carry in the game, and then they increased her like attack damage by two, and she became the top carry in the game, and then they nerfed her again, and they removed it to two damage.
By two?
Yeah, and I didn't think it was a big deal, but this pro player was saying, like, if you consider how many auto attacks you do in the game, that equates to thousands of damage. And
That's true.
yeah,
She has such long range. Yeah.
yeah, and it also, you think of the crit range, it gets reduced, because I think it's like it starts off by two, and then I don't know, but it was interesting. But yeah, so that's cool too. And by the way, Frank, I still haven't forgotten how you abandoned us. We were winning, and then he just had to see that show Redwood on TV, and our friend, he was on our team playing, and he's like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom, be right back, and then he just never came back.
Never came back.
Yeah.
Just abandoned. Yeah. Well, he was probably a smart one because it's League of Legends. Anyway.
Yeah. You know, that's the funny thing about League of Legends. Anybody who plays it, I never hear them say good things about it ever.
I think it's just the MOBAs in general. Like they just have or maybe games in general. They just have such hateful. I don't want to say hateful. That's the wrong word.
The word that's most commonly used is toxic.
Toxic. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean,
it's all games though.
Yeah, I think for the most part it was always like that. It's just you have different audiences nowadays since it's grown so much, and so it's also like a huge talking point. Like you always have people that, you know, it gets views when people talk about that, and but I because I'm always of the opinion it's just like the speech should be allowed, and if there's any problems you just hit that mute button.
Yeah, as long as I have the mute button. As long as it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Speech, like...
Oh, I'm talking like Dota voice chat. Like, dude, listen. Oh, yeah. So, I play Dota with my girlfriend, and she's Peruvian. And no, actually, she's my fiance. So
fiance.
Sorry, baby. I play with my fiance, and Peruvians, they're like the most toxic Dota players I've ever seen.
Oh my god! You know what? In Dota, they always say, "What are you, Peruvian?" Like that's the common thing, because like that's like the worst in Dota.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, they turn on you on the drop of a dime.
But I didn't know that was like legit. I just thought like, because I only play in NA, so like I don't know any other regions that they play. And I always thought, oh, they're just, I don't know, it's a funny Peruvian, I guess. Like, what are you, Peruvian? Because they were speaking Spanish. What are you, like, oh, you're a flame real Peruvian? Like, pendejo? Like, all this.
Yeah, oh, dude, I can't even tell you. Like, you could be doing well the whole game, and you lose one fight, and then they just start pinging the items, and it says, like, well, you know, Black King bar ready for use, or something. And they'll just start going in your inventory, pinging everything, and typing, and... Yeah, and then the funniest this is what I think is awesome. I think that Dota in their voice chat, it just adds a whole nother layer because it's hilarious. Like you have people just arguing and like I'm sure
the worst.
When you're involved, yeah, but when you're not involved and you're just hearing like people getting so mad over just playing a video game, even though like it's a casual match too. It's like turbo mode, and they're just like. For me as just a gamer playing for entertainment, it's another layer of entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played Dota in a hot minute, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but you know, and what do you think about that? Because voice, I feel like that's a thing that studios can do to add another layer that really helps promote the community. I mean, I guess this is not a great example, but Call of Duty, like that, you know, and people always talk trash in the lobbies to each other. I'm not gonna go back to the Xbox 360 days; those were like infamous, and they have an infamous reputation. But a lot of like video gaming content that I watch, it's like there's this one guy, Indian guy, Adanya or something. He plays Call of Duty, and he just like he has this super thick Indian accent, and he's in Call of Duty lobbies, and he's like making calls in the game like what is it? Defuse the bomb. I can't do an Indian accent. But
I'm like, don't do it. But you'll get in trouble. No.
but that's his whole shtick, you know, and it's freaking hilarious. He's so funny.
Yeah, but he's Indian, so he can do it. You're not Indian, you can't do it.
Yeah, I know, but I appreciate the content, and he's so funny, and he's like. Like people just, you know, in that game, the banter. I love that, the banter. I think it's just fun, and you know, it's sad to see that a lot of games actually prevent that. Because think about it like this: Among Us, which is another example of a game that utilizes voice, right? It never would have been possible or blown up the way that it did without having that voice to voice interaction. And then just something like that, right? You like, are you familiar with Among Us?
No, I've never played it. I heard it blow up.
Yeah.
When it blew up, I heard about it, but I
Yeah.
never was interested in it.
Yeah.
So
Do you know the premise?
yeah, like there's a spy or something. There's a murderer, and you have to find him, and you're all working together, except one's like a traitor, right? Like that's
Yeah.
kind of like at that time, a lot of games came out like that, and that didn't really do it for me. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, interesting about Among Us is the studio released it, and it was out maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years before COVID happened. And then once COVID happened, and Among Us, like, some big streamers tried it out, and then it caught on from there. The game that they were developing, that at that point they just scrapped to rework on Among Us. And so the premise is just that, yeah, you pretty much had it. You work to, you're like in space, you're working to get off of the space station, and there's an imposter that can execute somebody like every 50 seconds, 60 seconds. And so you have tasks that you have to achieve to leave, and then you have, like, if somebody can call these meetings where that's where the voice chat comes in, and people make cases. They're like, oh, I saw you over there at this time. And then, but then that's the cool part about it, because you like using the voice chat, people try to manipulate seeds of doubt in other players' minds, and they try to deceive. And it was a huge thing, and it was a really interesting phenomena in gaming itself. And
Well, to be honest, I am on the complete opposite end with the voice chat.
yeah.
I don't want to hear you, like, unless we know each other and we're playing together and we
Yeah.
talk. Like, I don't care what you have to say. Honestly,
Yeah.
like, I'm playing my game. I mean, in a game like Dota, in a MOBA, you need communication.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like, I understand that. But if I'm playing, like, I play NBA 2K23, I play a single mode, my team, and I have the sound off. I'm watching a YouTube video while I'm playing, most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I if somebody gets on the mic, I won't even know because it's muted. They could be saying something and it's just muted. Like, it doesn't matter, because 9 times out of 10, when you're playing somebody else, they're getting on the mic to yell at you for beating them, or to rub it in your face when they're beating you. So it's like, it's not even worth it
Yeah.
to me. But
Well, it should be that it can be set up in a way that everybody can play how they want to play. And I think that's a good option to have. Like, you can just preemptively mute before you go in. That should be available too, because it shouldn't be imposed on the player.
I mean, but you don't mute anybody. You just, the game sound, you just turn it down to 0, and then it doesn't matter. They could
Okay.
be on. Like in Dota, you have that where the sound's off. You could see somebody speaking. You can see who's speaking, but you won't hear anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But so you were going about. I was gonna say Paragon, but you're saying predecessor.
Oh yeah, but it's good that you mentioned that. Just Paragon was basically, it was I'll just give a quick background. Epic Games in 2016 had Paragon, which was a next gen MOBA that ended up failing. And
I don't think it failed. I think they just they found fire with Fortnite. Epic Games. This is Epic Games. They also released the game Fortnite at the time, the same time they were doing Paragon.
yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And that game initially failed.
Yeah.
Right? Fortnite was panned, but then they did this free to play mode, which is
Battle Royale.
mode,
Yeah.
which took the world by fire, and now I guess it's the biggest game in the world, and not League of Legends. Sorry, but
Yeah. It was it was like the biggest money cow in gaming for a very long time. And so Paragon they were struggling to find success because they had some internal strife, but that's not important. I'm just going to stick to the most important things. Epic Games closed down development on Paragon, and they released the assets in their Epic Games store. And it was over $16 million worth of assets that anybody could use. So that was like an unprecedented move in the industry, because it really hasn't been done before. And
more sense.
yeah. And so Predecessor is built from many of those assets. And they there's a couple successor projects like Paragon the Overprime as well, Fault, and others that didn't even make it out of alpha and beta. But predecessor for me is the winner, and it's received over 20 million in funding from investors, and they're probably going to release at the end of this year when then they'll start marketing it, and I'm hoping that it makes a big splash and it kind of takes the uh throne from Smite from being the third person MOBA. But it's a lot of fun. I recommend it if you guys are interested in a MOBA that's different. It's a kind of MOBA that they try to capture non-traditional MOBA players. So they want to have that appeal, and it is different enough to separate itself. And check it out. Yeah, they and they're releasing their first original hero soon as well. So that's pretty cool too, because that was like one of the biggest things holding back. People didn't know if they had the talent to create a AAA level character, and so this is their first one with.
Well, people still don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say, but Smite has the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean, you can't compete with that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
can. I'm just kidding. But.
No, it's tough. You make a very strong point, because Smite, one of the reasons, I mean, people play characters because they have so many kinds of what's the term,
Skins.
well, skins, and what is it? It's like, I mean, you also have avatar skins, and you
All
have
the Nickelodeon. Yeah.
yeah, so many different ones. And that's part of the appeal of Smite and one of the strengths of Smite and why it lasted so long, because that's the thing. Predecessors, visually it has much
Yeah, it's
higher
like 3D
fidelity,
graphics. Yeah.
and you can't there's no possible way you could produce the amount of skins that quickly as Smite has. And that's like one of the advantages Smite has. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna we'll see what happens to it at the end of the year. That's the game that I've been playing a lot, and I even make content for it, and I stream it, and I find it a lot of fun. But what games have you been playing recently?
Well, like I said, NBA 2K23, I've played since the release. I play it pretty much every day. I grind the game, and sometimes I wonder why. Well, I know why, because it's the only basketball game there is.
True.
And I love basketball. I used to play basketball. I used to play basketball.
Oh yeah.
In high school, not college or anything, but we both played.
Yeah.
I love the sport, and sometimes you just want to, chill and play basketball.
Oh yeah.
And it gives you that. We played versus each other. Like, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a month now? I don't know. But what did you think of it?
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm like a noob compared to you, but it was
That was
good.
the first time playing, yeah.
Yeah, it is like the most realistic basketball simulator out there. It is really good, and it's fun. The only reason, like, what's the biggest thing that prevents me from wanting to really get good at it and invest myself in it? It's kind of like, you kind of touched, well, you didn't really touch upon it, but I just know from our previous conversations, play these modes where there's players who have been playing since the beginning of launch, who have been collecting all the cards and buying the packs and stuff. And me, as somebody who's new, I just feel like I'll never be able to catch up. It's like I'm like so behind in the race now. What's the point? That's kind of, I don't know how accurate that feeling is, but that's like the general impression.
Yeah, I mean, but it also depends what your goal is, right? Like, if it's good, it should give you reasons to play, even if you're not, even if you picked up the game yesterday, right? Like, there should be reasons for you to play, and I feel they don't always do that. Like, I just want to play by myself versus another team. Score some buckets to do some things, and then maybe get some new cards to play. Like these card games, you need new cards all the time to keep trying out and be like, oh, like this card's better, that card's better, this card's better, that card's better. And I don't know if they do a good job this year. I don't know. There's been a lot of drama with it, and I'm not going to go into all that because that's people who have paid attention know what's going on. But let's just say the hardcore community is not happy with the game, and a lot of them want to go away. And I think the developer 2K wants them to go away. They want to make it completely like just like for noobs, anybody can pick it up and just play, you know.
Oh
But
wow.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Well, that that might be an interesting thing to talk about in like a video, just to discuss it, because I'm sure people are interested in that, and I'll share something about that with you, because 2K might not be achieving the effect that they're trying to accomplish with and you told me it's something that they did something with like the currency. I won't really go into specifics, but I one time I heard a Smite player asked the question, and the answer kind of rubbed me the wrong way, even though I appreciated the answer. But he was asked, like, are you going to play Smite or this game? And he just said, whichever one has more viewers, or like whichever one gets me more viewers, because this is a job. So that's what it boils down to. And I was, and I as much as I hate that answer, there is some validity to it.
There's a
And
lot of validity, yeah.
yeah, and so if these NBA players, if NBA is the one that gives them the viewers, they're not going anywhere.
Well, I mean, it's not NBA play, but anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the NBA 2K players.
NBA 2K, yeah. So I just give a quick rundown. So what happened was there are these. There's two currencies. There's VC, which is virtual credits. Mm-hmm. So you drop money to get VC to spend. You could play. All right. So I gotta go back. NBA. Mm-hmm. So really, there are two main modes. You know, there's like the play now, and there's like the single player, make your basketball player, which is like Park. Mm-hmm. You know, you need to spend VC to upgrade your player and all that stuff. I don't play that. I play the My Team, which is a card game, which you spend VC to get packs, which give you cards, which is you're gambling on cards to get cards. So what happens is there's this other currency in My Team, which is called MT. Yeah, MT. So you get that currency by playing the game. Now what happens was they would have like bot farms farming the game and then selling the MT to people for a reduced price as the VC. So everybody did this for like 2-3 years and they didn't do anything. Then what happened was, let's see, it was recently. It was like January or February, I think. And they banned everybody who bought MT. And like banned them for 7 days. Next strike is 30 days. Next strike is lifetime ban. So, you know, a lot of people were like, okay, that's fine. This is your policy, it's fine. But you should have done this in October when the game released.
Oh yeah.
You know? You set up a tournament for $250,000 and you let these people qualify and then you pull them out of it because later on you retroactively decide to enforce the rules. That might have been there from the beginning, but for 2-3 years you haven't enforced them. Yeah. So like it didn't matter. And the 2-time champion, you know, because if you're spending VC to buy the packs, first of all, it's gambling because you're rolling the dice. You're not guaranteed to get any cards.
Yeah, they're basically. Are they? Would you say that they're loot crates? Basically, like you know.
So they're packs. So like, it's a pack, and you get 5 cards in a pack.
Yeah.
And you get 1 guaranteed player, and there's like a base set that you could get. Like, I mean, now it's too much to go into. Mm-hmm. But let's just say you buy a pack. In the pack, you're guaranteed at least 1 player. That player could be part of the set. So it's like they had recently like highlight reel. Mm-hmm. Highlight reel. So they have like 12 different cards from the highlight reel set. You're not guaranteed a player from that. Those are the players that you want to get. You could get it from the base set. So they guarantee you a player.
Oh.
You know, so you get a base card, which nobody uses unless there's like something specific that you need to use it for to get a challenge, you know, and they just kind of fill it up with that, and they give you like a 2% to get the cards that you really want. Chance. They put less than 2%, and in reality, it's probably less than 1%.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Are they legally like? Do they disclose the exact percentage, or that's how what they leave it at?
That's what they leave. They give the percentages up to the highest card. The highest card they say less than 2%, and I
Oh,
guess legally they're fine with that.
yeah.
But eventually I think it's gonna start in Europe where they're gonna just ban loot boxes and these kind of things all together.
Hopefully, I think that'd be for the best. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, that's a thing. It does seem like gambling, and I don't know. But what do you think about that? Do you like that mechanic? Do you like loot boxes, or would you rather maybe you unlock cards through some kind of progression system that you grind just with time?
I think both can work. Like, so what happened? Okay, so let me go back. So NBA 2K, right? They banned all these players,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it at like a certain time. Like, it was before like the last qualifier, so you had three qualifiers to qualify for the 250K tournament,
Yeah.
and like I guess a week or two before, or maybe it was a month before the last qualifier, they started banning people. Then what they did was they released packs, and these packs had higher odds. So like normally you open like a 20 box. So you get 20 packs of 5 cards each. And I opened 120 box and I got all the cards except one in the set. That's never happened before, never happened since.
So you're saying you got really lucky with that
No,
20
they
pack?
juiced the odds. They made
Uh,
the odds so much better. But what they did was so you have auctionable cards, which there's an auction house, so you could take your cards, sell it on the auction house, and make MT,
mm-hmm.
right? What they did is those juiced odds were for unauctionable cards. So you can't auction them. You could use them, or you could just sell them for like a pittance, but you couldn't put them on the auction house. So like if you get the highest card, they could sell for 1 million, 2 million MT, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like the highest you could put on the auction to bid, the highest bid is 100,000. You put it there and it starts there. But because this is the newest card, it's the best card. People have so much MT, they're spending 1 million, 2 million, you know.
Yeah.
And then they give you these unauctionables, so you get all the cards, but you can't make the money back for it, like the currency. I love that because for me, I just want to use the cards. Like I'm not gonna sell them. I'm not trying to make MT. I'm not trying to compete in 250. I just want to play the cards. So that was the best pack for me.
Yeah.
Since then, they've changed the odds. They've added another base set. So like when you open packs, you get these crap cards that you're never gonna use. You don't need. You don't want.
Yeah.
And you have less chance to pull those other ones. And they do things too, like they'll put a player in there that's garbage. Like they have tiers of cards. So they have like like you have silver, gold, bronze, whatever, except they have like pink diamond, galaxy opal, and dark matter is like the top one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in October when the game started, pink diamonds were the highest tier. Um, anyway, so they'll give you like one of the higher tiers, like a Galaxy Opal, except they'll give you a card that like nobody really wants, and that'll be the one that most people will pull.
Oh yeah.
The good one will be one that almost no one will pull, but the one that everyone wants. And like it's shady, and you can't prove that because you don't have the numbers on the back end server data.
Mm-hmm.
But like people have taken like polls in like Twitter, be like, how many packs did you pull? What did you pull? And like gather data like that, and have shown that this doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's par for the course. I mean, in all these games, all they want to do is make more money, right? Like that's the end goal in this world and in life, I guess. Like I don't know this world that we live in, but
Because it reminds me of a gotcha game that I play, and that's the thing that they're so stacked against you, and it just sounds like they do have it. Thank you. They do have it like it in a way where they're set to make a killing, like just make so much money. Um, because even in the gacha game that I play, they have like legally, I think in Japan they have to uh tell you the exact odds, but it certainly doesn't feel that way. Like, you'll have like a character that's new, and they'll have like an increased drop rate of 5%, because normally it's like 2.5%, but still it's like I think of maybe the 8 to 10 characters that I've been through so far with this game. I think one of them I actually got, or like two of them I got, like the majority of them when I was rolling. All the other characters I just got like the characters that you don't really want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a video of you ever heard of Troydan?
Is that a
He's,
is that
he's
a
a
content creator?
streamer. Yeah, he's a content creator, I think.
It sounds a little bit familiar. Maybe I came across something with his stream, but I
I
can't.
think that's it. Another one somebody else. But apparently there's a video of him because there were these highlight reel packs. They were the last ones. And they had Dark Matter Kobe Bryant. And he's a pack seller.
Oh man, he's got to be like legendary.
I mean,
Because Dark Matter's the highest, right?
Dark Matter's the highest. It's a 99. You're rated 99. But you got to look at the signatures, at the dribble. Like there's this whole other game behind it.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a video of him. He spent like $10,000 to try to get him, and finally got him. Like he spent or maybe even 1,000. I don't know. 10,000's a lot. It could have been like $1,000, like $1,200. I forget. But like he like streamed it and like spent all the money to pull the pack to get him.
Oh yeah.
And it's on there. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah. These games. That's why they do it, because they make a fortune off of it. Really.
Yeah, from the whales who will spend all the money until they get the card that they want.
Yeah. There's this one mobile game where there was one guy. He was like the biggest player. He was something like, I don't know. My friend, he was telling me the statistics. Something like, I don't know if he was like responsible for like 80% of the game's profits or something like that, but he it was something ridiculous like that. And he basically, when he complained to the studio catered to his complaints, because there was nobody who even spent anywhere near as much money as him. And so I guess it's smart on the studio, because
Yeah.
but it's like, that's like an extreme example where it was just one guy who one whale that was like, no, this is bullshit. And they're like, oh, damn, guys, this guy makes more than half our revenue. We need to appease him,
Of course, yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, I think there's, I can't speak of this, but there was like a Madden pack strike.
Uh-huh.
And like people boycotted packs. And apparently it didn't make a difference. I don't know enough. That's about the extent of all I know about it. But
yeah,
I mean, if people spend money, take that revenue away from them, they will change. Unfortunately, there's so many people who buy packs who like don't care about any of this stuff. They just see, oh look, Kobe, I could get the best Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't follow any of this stuff. They don't follow the news and things like that. So
yeah, and a lot of gamers are older now, and they have more expendable income, and so they don't mind shelling out that extra money if it means it, because like I don't, have you followed anything with Diablo Immortal?
no, absolutely not.
It was like yeah, it was basically pay to win game, extremely predatory, and you had some people like I know of this one guy who spent over 100K on it, and it's like insanity. It's
Yeah, I remember when they announced it. I remember seeing that, and I guess it's a meme now. You guys have phones, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. That's like the classic of, that's like the classic example of you don't ever have a developer do like a press marketing showcase or anything like that, because that's exactly what happens.
Were they developers? Or
they were developers of the game.
Oh.
Yeah, it was totally like because I think it's just you don't do it for many reasons. The developers invest themselves in the game, so they take it personally, and it's like it makes them sad when it gets criticized like that. So of course they're gonna take it to heart, but that's why you have somebody whose job it is to actually promote it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a developer. I've never developed anything, but I feel like it. If you have developed something that's garbage, you know it's garbage. If you're a good developer, you know you're working on garbage.
Yeah.
But the paycheck's good, so like, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, with the development, it depends on the developer really. Uh, because some of them, I don't know. You have the developers that are like write phenomenal code and comments and great. They have great documentation, and then you have the developers that are like, I'm just gonna do what I can to make this thing work. Oh, it works. Okay, my job's done. Like so they just throw together some spaghetti code that just happens to achieve the um, end result, or at least appear like it does, and then it's up to QA to like verify. But yeah, but with Diablo, I was just watching the Diablo 4 beta, and or no, it wasn't beta. It was like early. Oh, maybe I don't know, early access. Uh,
Right.
yeah, I think it was early access. And did you have you been following that at all? Are you gonna play Diablo 4?
No, no. I gave up after Diablo 3. Um, that hot garbage launch.
Yeah,
I feel like that's just the state of games now. The launches are just awful. Um,
yeah,
and I played Overwatch a little bit, but like Blizzard is not what it was, and it'll never be the same again. And anything you have is rose-colored glasses, and they're just I don't know. They don't make the game. They don't make games for me. I'll put it like that. I'd rather play Path of Exile 2 when that comes out,
hmm
or even like games like Grim Dawn or Path of Exile. Like, you know, Grim Dawn's not free, but Path of Exile is a free to play game.
yeah.
You
But
know,
and both are phenomenal in that genre. I
yeah,
mean, you can't go wrong with those two. Grim Dawn is more akin to like Titan Quest, and
that's
that
another good one. It's a classic.
yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit different in how it plays. But Path of Exile is for people who like min max, love numbers, like because like yeah, you can make some really wild builds. But I'm on the same. I'm in the same boat basically with Diablo 4. I want to play it. Trust me, I want to play it and enjoy it. But after what they did with Warcraft 3 Reforged, I I try not to be like um impose. I don't know what to call it.
You're trying to be a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just put it like this. I'll just say what happened because so had Warcraft 3 and I had it synced to my Blizzard account online, right? I put in the code
Oh
and
yeah.
everything
Okay. Yeah. I
so I
remember what
could
happened.
I always have access to it. Yeah. And so after whatever it was 15 years, once they released Reforged, they actually changed and removed the functionality of how Battle.net was in Warcraft 3. So you don't, yeah, they retroactively removed ranked mode after 15 years, and it was, how does that even happen? How is that? I mean, I understand it's because they're allowed to through like the clever wording of their license, because you never actually own the game, you just like agree to the license. But
Yeah,
it's
that's every game.
oh yeah, but I mean, just the ethics of it is so messed up. It's like you take your
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh because you say ethics in gaming and it's like an oxymoron. Like
At this
that doesn't exist. Like
yeah, at this point in time, it's especially in AAA studios, it's crazy, and it's like you take your car for a tune up, and at the end of it, when they give you your car back, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you pay another upcharge, we will put the brakes back in your car if you like it. You don't have to have it, by the way. It still drives, and it's like, what? Oh, are you serious? You know, and with yeah, you're right about that. So after that, because I actually played it, before Reforged came out, I started playing it again on some custom games, some ranked, just because I was preparing for Reforged. I liked the gameplay, I liked the mechanics and everything, and to have rug taken from under your feet. It's a crappy feeling. And then again, Diablo 3 was a dumpster fire.
Well, I mean, when they start, let's be honest, World of Warcraft was their biggest seller for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
And then when they start repackaging it, the things that they did before, like World of Warcraft, what was it called? When they gave you like the base game again, so you could go back with like some improvements.
Yeah, I played it. I forgot what it was. It was I forgot what it was called, but yeah, I played it for like 2 months before my friends dropped off, and then I dropped off.
Yeah, and then they gave you the expansions that you paid for and played years ago, and then do it again. Like they're just reusing assets and just kind of prettying them up a little bit. Like it's done. They're done. Like as far as being like the Blizzard that we remember in our childhood, that was like whatever game they make, it's gonna be amazing. It's not. It's not. It's gonna be a normal Call of Duty clone. Every year they're gonna give you something a little bit different, a little bit new, but it's the same.
Yeah, because I think that they were called Blizzard North, and then it became Blizzard, and then Activision like
Yeah,
acquired. Yeah, it was this whole evolution over the course of many years. But you're right, they had a golden era, and you know what I think was the biggest difference in that period of time? It's because they didn't really know or have the video game industry mapped out, so their goal was just to make the most entertaining and fun game possible. Because I think in a lot of people's minds that's what was going to be the biggest sellers. So it wasn't these kinds of, they weren't thinking about how they could create these systems that utilize psychological tricks to keep you engaged and playing and spending money and all of that stuff. Like they didn't bake that into the core idea of when designing a game, whereas now they do.
Well, every game's designed like that now.
Yeah.
If you don't design it like that, then either you're an indie developer or you're not trying to make money, which means you won't last long.
Yeah.
Because all the games have these hooks in them to get the, what do you call it? The things in your brain that go off. What do they call it? Dopamine. Yeah, to get the dopamine hits to keep coming, and to keep and keep dripping in there. And I mean that's just gaming, I guess nowadays.
Yeah.
But I mean, you just have to accept it and just find the games that I don't know, value your time and really reward you for the money that you do spend on it. Like for me, that's Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
You play Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to pick up, but in the higher level, it's a very complex game, and it's very. I don't know. It's another card game. I think I just love card games, but it really. There are just so many interactions between the cards, and because they have these little, they have 3 zones that just really. I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that.
Yes, and you touched upon what I think is like the one of the core formulas that a great multiplayer game needs, like easy to pick up, difficult to master.
Right.
Because that's like a great combination of like you satisfy the casual players and the hardcore players if you do that well.
Yeah, I mean that game does do that well because it is kind of like you can just pick it up and you could see cool Marvel characters that you could use in your deck and just put them down. All these things are cool, and then you win a game, you lose a game, whatever.
Yeah.
But all the money you spend on it is for like cosmetics, like like you have a card that looks cool, that has cool art. That's what you're spending your money on. Could you get that card for free? Yeah, you can. You don't have to spend money to get that card for free. Yeah. But if you want it to look amazing, you spend a little extra money, and then you get those dopamine hits in your head when you play the game.
Yeah. I got a bit of trivia for you. What is the first game to have paid cosmetics?
Oh my gosh, that's is that Morrowind?
Close. You're on the right track.
Oblivion.
Yes.
Oblivion. Yeah, they had the horse armor.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. See, I remember.
Freaking Todd Howard.
Is that who it was?
Todd Howard was he's like that guy from Bethesda, and he.
Yeah, I remember. Fallout 76. It just works.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like this one press conference he did too, which was hilarious because it's like he said goodbye, and as soon as he went off stage, he still had a hot mic, and he was like, "Fucking hate those assholes" or something like that. He's like something like that. Like he said something. It was funny, but yeah, I mean, he's like, and that's the thing. The more like if you're up in high in that position, if you're in such a high position and your company gets that successful, you become a salesman more than anything.
Well, he is a salesman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like yeah. I don't know. Those guys are when they become stars. When they become like they have their own following. They have people who know who they are. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everything's sales. Everything follows sales in business, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't have a business without sales.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. And Todd Howard, he's pretty good. He sold the same game like 7 times.
Yeah.
Skyrim. Yeah. But you know,
Skyrim was amazing.
yeah. Oh yeah. That was. I remember when it like the first year came out, how awesome it was, and but that's a common thing nowadays. Like you have a lot of remasters and like even with Last of Us, that I played The Last of Us first as the remaster, and then they made The Last of Us 2. And then they made the show The Last of Us. And you know, I can't help I feel like this is my conspiracy theory that The Last of Us 2 was pushed and promoted because they just had a plan of milking it. And that's why you see like the HBO show, I think it's HBO. They have the show now and like the Last of Us series.
But you love that game. You love The Last of Us.
Yeah, the first one. I also played the second one.
Oh, you didn't love it as much?
It's like pure depression in video game form.
Seriously?
Yes. The further along you get it, the more depressed you are. And at the end, you think, at least I thought, I was like, oh man, I can't wait. I'm close to the end. Can't wait for that, like, where they tie it up and it's like, finally, I get like some kind of joy and happiness. No, you just get slapped with even more depression. Like, the heaviest depression. And you just finish the game, and I was depressed, quite literally depressed after I finished the game. I remember I live streamed it. And my last stream, I played it for like 12 hours straight because I felt like I was so close, but I wasn't as close as I actually was.
Yeah.
And I played through till like 8 a.m. in the morning, and I just finished it, and I really was depressed. Seriously, like what happens in the game, it's like the story and how it unfolds and everything. Oh my gosh, it is depression in video game form.
But it's a depressing world, from what I know. I mean, I never beat it, but
yeah, oh yeah, it absolutely is. But yeah, but there's, you know, in the first game there's like some uplifting moments, I guess, and like some heartwarming moments and stuff like that. But the second game, it's like, I don't know, you're just basically like a serial killer, just brutally murdering everybody, dogs, and it's like a revenge type of deal. And even when I don't want to spoil it, even though like it's been out for some
years, yeah.
But you know, the reason why I feel like it's a conspiracy why they pushed it all is because the first one had a multiplayer, the second one did not. That's an objective negative. That means when you're a critic, you point that out. You say, hey, this is a step back from its predecessor. Not a single journalist or anything brought that up.
Well,
and
I mean, I have to play devil's advocate. And who actually played the multiplayer in Last of Us?
I mean, but it was a fully fledged multiplayer that there were people that played, and it was good. It was good. You know, you had like the combat, and it was you could think Gears of War, maybe not as like.
Not Gears of War. I'm thinking, what is it? Nathan Drake, Uncharted.
Uncharted.
Right? It's like an Uncharted.
I think so too. Yeah, because they're both third person.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was good. There were people who enjoyed it, and that was the thing that you enjoyed after you finished the story, and then it kept you playing after. But they didn't even have it. And you know, they beat out Ghost of Tsushima, and this is the craziest part, right? That year, Ghost of Tsushima, when it was released, it was just single player, and it was a masterpiece in and of itself. But months later, they actually released a free multiplayer after launch that I'm pretty sure you don't even need PlayStation Network to enjoy. because normally for multiplayer games you need to pay for the subscription,
Right.
but this one you don't. So it's like, what game studio does that where after they officially have their release of just like a single player, like really refined single player experience, they release a full-fledged multiplayer experience months after the fact. Like they could have done Last of Us 2 route. They could have just said F you, we don't care, and not release anything.
I mean, a few that popped in my head was No Man's Sky, and the negative reception it had.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it at release. I didn't play it after, but I heard the negative reception, and apparently with the patches and as time went on, they really improved that game.
Yeah.
And the second one is CD Projekt Red. I had The Witcher 3, and had the free DLC, and also with Cyberpunk, which was, panned, but apparently they've made improvements in that.
Yeah.
So for free, like they don't charge you for patches. I mean, they didn't put multiplayer in it, but still, like I feel like there are studios that do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a special case. I mean, it's a special case because it's a minority as opposed to a majority of studios that do that.
But see, the difference here is their initial release was superb. It was like you had the game.
One game of the year for like a lot of places though too, right?
Because I don't know, but it was like the biggest ones it didn't. Like the.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
and
we're not going to go into political. This is not a political podcast here. It's video games, but I think that was more political than anything. But that's as far as I'll say.
Because you're not going to be able to make an HBO show out of Ghost of Tsushima. That's for damn sure. But Last of Us 2, where you already had like at the time Ellie Page, she was a big actress, and then boom, like you already have a setup because you already have like.
But all right. Let me ask you this: have you watched The Last of Us show?
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Isn't The Last of Us going on The Last of Us 1, not 2?
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, and which is to me, from what I hear, it's the better one out of the 2.
Oh yeah, it is absolutely. And when I think they've been really successful, and they're eventually gonna go to the second one, and it's just gonna be depression. It's just gonna be depressing. I'm just gonna give you a heads up. Spoiler. When they reach the content of the second one, and listen, everybody knows about the death. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not even that salty about it. But it's just when you play if you haven't played the game, play it, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't prepared for it.
I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't play either of the game.
Yeah.
But what popped up in my head was Game of Thrones, and the absolute disaster that was the end of that show. But anyway, we're not talking about shows. I mean, we're going into tangents here.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I don't know. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it was just basically that you had an objective negative for Last of Us 2, missing an entire mode, and Ghost of Tsushima incorporated a full mode that it wasn't ever promised. It was like a bonus, and it's like the inverse, the complete opposite. Last of Us 2 was just hush hush, don't speak about multiplayer, and that's the thing. Gaming journalists, why are they such trash? Like not all of them, obviously.
No, don't say they're trash. Listen,
do your job.
These people are feeding their families. They have a boss that tells them, you cannot publish this.
Oh, yeah.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
Most of them. They're paid well to say what their bosses tell them to say.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't have a platform that's big enough where they could tell the truth.
Yeah, that's their job. They get paid to publish like whatever they're told. That's right. That's why Jeff.
I mean, not all of them. Yeah, Jeff Gerson.
Yeah, he was with that's how he started Giant Bomb, because what is it? Kane. What is it?
Yeah, Kane and Lynch.
Kane and Lynch. Yeah, he was like, this game sucks, and then GameSpot was like.
I mean, he went into that and said that he said that they had a new management team. And before the editorial team was separate, and they had an editorial manager who kept them separate and be like editorial integrity. Then they had some turnover. It's a big company, CBS Interactive.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And, they were getting ad dollars, and they they didn't want to pan this game. They wanted to push the game. But he said he even talked to developers of the game that said, yeah, that game was crap. Like, this is why I brought up the point before. If you're a developer and you're making a crap game, when the product's released, you gotta. If you're a good developer, you know it's crap. You know, you're a cog in the wheel. You know, there's only so much you could do as a single developer.
Oh yeah.
You know, especially with something that big. So you know when the end product is good and when the end product is bad. You know.
Yeah, and then it's the classic issue of you got big wigs that don't even play video games that have the power to make the decisions and enforce them.
Well, yeah, and their job is to make money for themselves and their shareholders.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. It's just, you know,
even as dumb as they are at times, because it's like for the longest time, there was like a lack of single player in bigger studios, and then apparently it was a surprise to many, but I never understood why. You know, you had God of War come out and it was a resounding success. You had Star Wars, it wasn't the Fallen Order, right? It was
Jedi Fallen Order. Was it Jedi Fallen Order?
No, I think the Fallen Order. I think that's the one that's coming up, like the sequel. Jedi. I forgot what it was, but it was like the first one that started that.
Yeah, it was like Dark Souls, Star Wars, Star Wars, Dark Souls kind of thing.
It was it was like very light Dark Souls, but Star Wars, and that was a great success. And then these big wigs started to realize, wow, you can make money on that, and there was never any reason to believe you couldn't. But it was just, they don't even play video games, so what the hell do they know? What do they know about it?
Well,
but it goes back to the point, like money makes the games, right? You need money to develop, and you need to satisfy your investors and shareholders, and so that's why you have games like FIFA where it's like they just make a fortune off those packs.
I don't know. I played FIFA. I never bought the packs, so I can't speak to that. I can speak to NBA.
Yeah.
And that's about it. and NHL. I played NHL. Yes, NHL. I want to say 2K, but it's not. NHL 23. EA Sports NHL 23. What's interesting about that card collecting game? It's another card collecting game. They allow you to trade in cards for other cards. So let's say they have a new event. One of the older ones was like trade deadline, because you're at the trade deadline in the NHL season.
Mm-hmm.
So you could trade for. Is my camera dying?
No. It seems good. It seems good. Yeah, I was just checking the time.
Oh, okay. Why does it have like a?
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Anyway,
I was just curious.
Yeah. So they have a card trading game that, let's say you have an 85.
Mm-hmm.
You could trade in like 585s for this other 85, which is on this, which is in the trade deadline, which is a trade deadline card. So you can trade those in for that card, and then you gotta trade in cards to get boosters to boost that card. So they give you the ability to get cards and trade them in for the cards that are new and are in packs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's a good, I want to say, compromise where you don't have to buy packs. You know, because if you play the game, they'll give you packs.
Yeah.
If you play the online mode, they'll give you packs. And you get some cards, and most of them are garbage, but you can trade those garbage ones in for higher cards. You know, so there's something to trade in and something to build up and to, build your team, because you only have so many players on your active team. But your bench with the cards is hundreds and hundreds of cards.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you trade those in, or you could sell them or whatever. But yeah, that just to go back on the card trading games.
Yeah. I good systems like that are necessary. Like if we,
I wouldn't say it's a good system, but it's in the right direction. Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go that far. I don't want people to think that like I'm saying these systems are the way to do it. No. There's a way to do it, and nobody's doing it right now. I want to say in these sports card games.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because I mean, it just always reminds me of gacha games. But I think gacha games are a little bit different because they always want to give you the illusion like you're making progress, and even if you spend money, you don't make much progress. Like because that's the thing. it's like you might spend like say you spend $100 in a gacha, you might get enough power to like climb 20 levels. But if like the amount of levels that there are over 1,000, you barely made any progress, and you spent enough to you could buy almost 2 games, and if depending if you go with deals, you could buy 8 games, so it's like yeah, it just depends on the individual and what they deem is worth their money, but
I mean, you gotta like to play the game. That's the end of the story. Like, I'll spend money. Like I'll drop $100 on Snap because I'm playing Snap. I'm in the bathroom, taking a number 2. I'm playing Snap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not searching Instagram. I'm in a game and Snap.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I lose games, because I'm on the toilet and I'm not concentrating. I'm not doing the math in my head. But yeah. Sorry. Bring the toilet humor into here at the end of this.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And but you're right, and it ultimately also boils down to if you enjoy it and you have fun. That's like the most important.
Yeah. I mean, why else play the game?
Yeah, and that Yeah, and that's a subjective thing. Everybody has their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what do you have any games that you've like coming up that you are looking forward to, or
I have to make some Marvel Snap content. So there are 2 things I have to do. I want to climb to infinite rank.
Yeah.
Because they have the X-Men, the backs on level 100, which is when you reach infinite, and they have like these gold X-Men backs to the cards.
Yeah.
And I'm a big X-Men fan. Yeah. I have to get that back. I have to get 100. I just got Lockjaw in my token market.
Oh, nice.
So, and I have Thanos. So that's the number 1 meta deck right now is Thanos Lockjaw. Because what happens is, I don't know, I'm not gonna get into Marvel Snap. Watch my videos whenever they come out. Marvel Snap.
You should make like a little series on that, like Journey to an Infinite, like just.
No, I'm like at 75 or something. So like I'm close to there, and a lot of games I'll lose because I won't think it out. Like I watched like Mega Mogwai, and there's Cozy Snap is really good, and somebody else, I forget his name, but he always does a podcast with Cozy Snap, and they really break down the game very well, and it's like you really have to calculate on turn 5 and 6 what you're playing and where you're playing, and what your opponent is playing and where they're playing.
Yeah.
It's like, because when you play enough games, you know what the cards are and you know what the decks are. Yeah. And when you're playing somebody, you kind of see what their deck is and what they're trying to do. Yeah. So you're trying to anticipate what they're gonna do and trying to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
course.
So I play too quick sometimes. I'm like, all right, let's go, next one. And then I'll play it. I'm like, I should have played it here. I would want it here 100%. Whereas I put it here, this guy beats me.
Yeah.
I lose 8 cubes. So it's really just, taking my time with it. And I think once I make content on it, I think I'll take more time in doing that.
What is that?
This is an extra shot. So this is the top of it, and they give you an extra shot actually in there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it had like, because I saw
it had a stopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's actually an extra shot in there. So if you ever get a bottle like that with a thing, don't throw it out, because there's an extra shot in that topper.
Yeah, because I saw it was in here.
Yeah, in there, pull it out, and it's extra shot. Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why.
They could put more alcohol in the bottle.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle, honestly.
No, yeah, it's a beautiful bottle.
Yeah. And I definitely think I've been making content for maybe 7 years at this point, and
a long time.
yeah, and my brother started to recently, and I encouraged him to create Marvel Snap content, because just his face and his enthusiasm, it shines through for Marvel Snap. But then, like, when you talk about NBA 2K, you're like, it's like a totally different, like.
Because that's an endless grind. Now you're grinding and you're not getting rewarded.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You play Marvel Snap, and there are games, like, I'll play games where I lose, and there's like the emote where like you do like the, I think it's the fist together.
Yeah.
Where, like, And I'll do that, and they'll do that. I'll win a game, I'll do that, they'll do that. And it's like,
That's cool.
it's like, yeah. Like, they'll drop cards, and I'm like, oh, I'm losing. But this card looks amazing. I've never seen this card before. So, like, you do like a little smiley face on it. And then they give you the thumbs up. And it's like, it's really good. It's the best card game I've played. I haven't played a lot. But, like, it's the best card game I've played. And I'm going to play it for years. I could see it already. You know, I've already dropped money on it. You know, it's free to play, but I've dropped money on it just because I want the cosmetics and I want the cool cards.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to make content on it. It'll be coming out soon.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess we'll start wrapping it up here, right? Like for the first one.
Yeah. We've been at it for an hour and 10 minutes, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, and I told you we would be. And you thought we wouldn't even fit an hour or so.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I generally tend to estimate more conservatively, but yeah, I think that's good. I think it's like a good episode, especially to Phil first. I think we did a pretty good job. It was like we had points all throughout and stuff.
Yeah, and hopefully next time it's a little more focused.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We'll maybe prepare a little more, but anyway. You want to do a sign off, or should I do a sign off just to get?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say, hey guys, thanks for watching. This
is a little more enthusiasm. Come on.
This is the first. Sorry, it's just because with being at work
we'll
today.
Cut it. Yeah. We'll cut it, or we won't. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And I'm JPie, and you can catch me on Twitch and YouTube. On Twitch as JPie, and on YouTube as the JPie. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Plenty more to come. And if you want us to talk about any kinds of video games or anything that you might be interested, or you have any questions, please leave any of the comments or anything else in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and now I'll pass it off to my host.
My host? I don't
know. Or my co-host, my brother.
Right. It was our show. Yeah, so I'm Dark Brother Prince at YouTube and on Steam. That's it. Like, share, and subscribe. So I'll probably post this on YouTube. You know, and I never say this in any of my videos, like, share, and subscribe. I don't know, do the YouTube stuff. And I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye now.
Take care.